Hey Ghost, thanks for coming back to me once again. You've sent me one single replay. It looks like you said that you managed to get to Diamond 1 with your friend and you'd like me to analyse this match. It's by far the most difficult you've ever played because your friend got ping problems in the middle of the game and you were talking to him through Discord during the match. Okay, well, I had a quick look at the end of the last video I did for you because I know I've done two videos for you before, and the first one was I think about threes, and the second one, the most recent one, was about twos. And from what I can gather from the end of that video, because it's such a long time ago and I really can't remember unfortunately, but looks like there was some things to do with rotations that we went over, and looks like there was kind of things to do with the right times to challenge as well. So one replay is probably going to be quite difficult for me to nitpick or to get too much out of, but I'll try my best. And we'll kind of just go into it and see what's going on. I think I've selected you. Let me just double check. Yeah, let's just see how we get on, and we'll go from there. That was very respectful of him. Yeah. Not really sure what the orange player was doing there. That should have been his ball. A weird start. Okay, that's fine if you choose to go for that kickoff. I know you were in comms, so there's communication, which is good. Good patience. Wasn't really any need to challenge this. If I'm going to be, I'm going to try and nitpick because I'm going to try my best to do it relative to rank, but that's going to be a bit difficult because I need to remind myself that this is diamond level. But I'm going to nitpick purely because it's one replay, and because it's one replay, I've got to nitpick because otherwise there's not going to be much use. So here we could have just let this go. There's no need to challenge it. By challenging it, all we're doing is taking it into a stranger angle up the wall, whereas in reality this is going back up the wall anyway, regardless of whether or not you get a touch on it. So what we're doing by touching it is we're just making that ball a little bit quicker, and we're pushing it further up the wall, whereas his touch was already taking up the wall. So I'd probably, what you did was absolutely fine. I'd have continued on with it. This initial bit, fine. Control, decent. Shame about the second touch, but that happens. And then here, where you realise he's going for it, I'd brake, let him touch it, and then I'd go and steal that corner boost. So let him play it past you, past the nose of your car, because that's what we've got a teammate for at the end of the day. So our teammate's behind us, in a good position actually, your teammate here. So if we let this ball go, just let the orange guy play it. Your teammate's there to back you up, and that will then be his ball. And then we can go and steal the boost, and then we've got you on full boost, your teammate on the ball, and we've got a 2v1, a 2v2, but with a potentially boost-styled opponent. So we could have just done that. We do get the boost star, the boost still, which is good, and then they whiff, so works out okay in the end. Good patience, I like it. Good. We could have backed off though. I could hear your teammate. I don't know exactly how close he was, but we could have backed off and let him have it. What you did was fine, and as you said, you're in comms anyway, so there's probably some communications going on about who's going for what, so that's fine. And again, there, I don't really see the benefit of going for this. We've got 20 boost. Sure, guy in net's being a bit slow. I'd much rather have seen you just go and take the corner boost. Because what we do by going for this, sure, we probably could have got it. We probably could have scored it, and that would have been great. If we'd have done that, then I'd have been saying something completely different. But if we're not 100% sure we're going to be able to score this, go and grab the boost instead. And the reason for that is because when we jump for this, we use quite a lot of our boost to get to it, and then we end up on that. Because we've missed it, we end up on their backboard and we leave our teammate in a 2v1. We don't really want to do that. What I would have done preferably instead, if I wasn't confident enough in taking the shot, personally I would have been, so I'd have gone for the shot, but just make sure you get contact on the ball. But if you're not 100% sure you're going to score the shot, go and steal their corner boost and then just try and bump the guy in net, and then you're just leaving an open net for your teammate behind. If your teammate's not there, that's fair enough. You can't help that, but you've at least cleared the way for him, and you've succeeded in boost starving them a little bit as well. It was a good effort anyway. And now we're just falling a little bit of prey to the victim of rotating kind of sloppily. So what you do is fine, but as soon as that ball goes across to the right-hand side and we can see our teammate going in that same direction, we just want to turn left and make sure we go behind our teammate, and that just avoids getting in his way at all, and it leaves him the chance to go and rotate in and challenge that ball. Because we're rotating in the same direction as the ball, we end up just getting in our teammate's way. And then that happens, and then you're out of control with 0 boost. Your teammate can't go and challenge the ball, so he's go back. Your teammate does everything right there, to be fair. And this positioning here could be a lot closer. I appreciate you've gone for a boost. Gone to go and grab boost, which is fine. But as soon as you grab this boost, turn around, boost, get into the play of your teammate. Your teammate's in a 1v1 because there's an orange guy between you and your teammate. So just boost, get closer to him. I'm going to pop a little circle on the screen here for where I'd like to see you roughly at this point. Just try and get a bit closer. I know you went for boost, so I know you can't have been exactly where I'd like to see you, but we could be making more of an effort at this point to get to where I'd like to see you. Stay forward, your teammate should have this. Yeah, so here we could have taken a risk. Don't really know why we're going for this. There's no way we're going to make it to this. You do put pressure on them, so you do, I guess there is a little bit of good that comes out of it, but had there been better and kind of just not both double committed to that, your teammates all not really back in that. So if they hadn't have double committed and one of them had gone up and got a touch past you, there'd be an open net. That would be 1-1 at this point. Because I could see your teammate and where he was, this is why I was calling for you here to just stay forward. Both of them are double committed. They're on your back wall. Leave it up to your teammate. Here's a perfect opportunity to take a risk. Stay forward. Hope your teammate can get a pass to you. If he can, great. It's an open net. It's a goal. Job done. If he doesn't, then you're in a relatively good position here to be able to rotate back. And both of the orange players, neither of them are causing you a threat at this point anyway. So you could have just stayed forward rather than turning back. And then again, because we have turned back, we've just got in our teammates' way a little bit. So if we're going to make the conscious effort to turn back, just get out of our teammates' way. Really difficult to do so here because the ball's played towards you and it's coming from the direction your teammate's in. So it's a bit difficult to work out where to go here. Personally, if I'm going to be making this movement, I'd have stayed forward anyway, just because that was an opportunity. But if I'm in this position, I would turn to the right, head over towards that big middle boost on the right-hand side there. Don't go for it. Just move in that direction so that we make sure we get out of our teammate's way and leave him free to go for this. That's better. That's good positioning. Yeah, that was better. I like that. And then be conscious of the fact you got 0 boost. It was bugging me the entire time. Collect some pads if you can, and then if you get 20 plus, then you can probably go for this. But if you've got less than 20, don't bother. Save your boost, ready to go and rotate back if you need to. Because if your teammate gets a poor recovery or gets boost starved or gets demoed or bumped or whatever, then it's up to you to get back. And on 0 boost, you're not going to be able to do it. But if you have 20 boost, you've got a fighting chance. Fortunately, we get a decent enough touch on the ball. I like the way you left that boost for your teammate. And then this is just a little bit impatient. So I think we went over this in the last replay where I looked at your twos, because I know I spoke a lot about the right time to challenge, and I know that I said never. This is really impatient. So we can see our teammate going out for it. It's his decision. He was number 1. But because he's going out for it, we need to just sit in there and wait and see what happens. Because if this guy plays it past you both, if he gets a good flick, it's an open net behind you, and you go for it. There's a chance that could have put your teammate off. It didn't, fortunately. But then your teammates also challenged, and now you're really far down the field behind all of the play, or in front of all of the play, whatever way you want to look at it. Your teammate's in a 2v1, and he's coming down from a challenge, so it's going to be difficult for him to recover from this. This could quite easily be a goal. Just a little bit more patience needed there. Okay, gonna get overly critical. Probably really overly critical for this rank, but if we're gonna do this, I haven't got any issue with you doing anything that you did here. Really, at this rank, not any issue at all. It's just at this point where we turn. If we're gonna turn towards the ball, just so that we're in a good position to be able to then beat it away. Because we turn away from the ball, makes it a little bit awkward. It means that in the end, the only touch we can get doesn't really push it anywhere. If we'd have turned the opposite direction, so I'm gonna explain exactly what I mean here. So when we get up the wall, you turn left towards your own net. If we'd have turned right to face the ball and meet the ball, we could have just hooked it straight back down the field. But because we turn right, we then in a position whereby we can only really hit the ball with the side of the car, and because of that, we don't have any momentum going towards the ball. All we can do is kill the ball's momentum, which is why the ball doesn't go anywhere. Had we have turned right initially on that wall, we'd have been facing the ball. We'd have been using our own momentum to then push the ball away. Could have got it away a bit further. Good control. Good. Teammates ball. Yeah. That's up to comms. If you wanted that ball, it's your ball. If your teammate wanted it, teammate's ball. Either way is fine. Let's just look at what happened afterwards. So this touch, it's a diamond touch. To be overly critical, it could have come further towards the middle, so it would have been a definite pass to your teammate, or you could have kept it closer to yourself. There's not a huge issue with it. It just doesn't do a lot for you. It puts you into this position where you're 50ing a ball that's very 50able for the opposite team. There's nothing wrong with it. But again, you and your teammate are just a little bit close together. And I know you're in comms, so I don't really know who to be critical of there. Because for me, it looked a bit like a pass to your teammate because you stayed on the wall for a little bit of time. But equally, if it wasn't, then your teammate should have backed off and just let you have it. And then here, we use the boost a little bit too late when we come back down. So if we stop it here, at this point you could push, I don't know if you're playing keyboard, mouse or controller, but you can push the nose of your car down and use your 16 boost to just head straight towards the ground, pick up some pads and get yourself back nice and quickly. Instead you kind of wait, delay yourself in the air, and then you use it when you get towards the ground, but your nose is pointing upwards, which actually stops you getting to the ground so quickly. Because your nose is facing upwards, by boosting at this point, you're actually pushing your car further up, and it's going to take your car longer to hit the ground. What you should have done would be to push the nose down and boost, and then you get to the ground a lot quicker, and then you can do what you want on the ground. And then your teammate whiffs there, and then you can't get back in time. Not a lot you can do about that. Fair enough. I like the positioning. Positioning's really good, and I like the way you made your decision here and you stuck to it. Wasn't too risky because the way the ball was bouncing, it wasn't going to be too much of a risk to your net if you missed this, so that's absolutely fine. We get a bit lucky with this little touch off the second orange guy. Lucky from our perspective, but from their perspective, deserved because the guy shouldn't have been pushing out net like that, so works. Good job. Oh, good speed. I like that. Good goal. Nice. Yeah, we come back to this. So this first touch, not the best, but it keeps it alive. So there's nothing wrong with that. And then you're just using a little bit too much boost on the ground for me. So just be a little bit mindful of that. If you're intent on going up for a ball in the air, try and use as little boost on the ground as possible. It just saves more for you when you're in the air, which is when you're really going to need it. As it is, you do well to get a touch here. It's good use of air roll to get yourself to the ball first, and then it's a nice little touch, rebound off the wall. Good, like it. Don't go for this. Good patience. And it's a similar kind of touch there to earlier, but this one was necessary because if you don't make this touch, the guy's got it over you, and then there's an open net behind you. So this touch was very necessary to slow the play down. Once you've made that touch, just get out of the way, which is what you do, and then you kind of turn back onto it, which I don't like so much, but I then like that you go back and take that boost before anyone can steal it. What I'd then do after you've got that boost is rotate to the back post. So you grab this boost, and then drive up the wall. Keep driving along the wall, as in along the backboard. Past your net, onto the back post, and then we sit behind our teammate. I can hear your teammate in net, so this is now his to deal with, because we're not facing the ball, whereas he probably is. So just rotate along the wall, or you can rotate on the ground, but that might confuse your teammate a little bit. But rotate along the backboard above your net, drop down onto the back post, ready to defend behind your teammate. If we switch to your teammate, he's got a really good position in net, perfect positioning. Almost perfect positioning. If I'm being really critical, he could be a car length or so further back, but otherwise absolutely fine. And if we look at his whole rotation, so he rotates down the middle, which is perfect. He's grabbing the boost, rotates into net, really good. Just behind the goal line, perfect. Could be probably slightly closer to the back post, but it's not bad positioning at all. And then you drop in front of him, so he does then have to back out a little bit. And at this point, he's probably thinking, "What do I do now?" We should have rotated behind him. And then because you're not aware of what your teammate's doing, because when we're defending a net, when we're defending our own net, we never ever want to be in this position, really, unless we're coming out to challenge the ball. We never want to just be hovering in this position. Always, always, always be in net, because if you're always, always, always in net, then you can't confuse your teammate, and it also, more often than not, the ball will just come to you. Whereas if you're in this position, all sorts of stuff can go wrong. You can confuse your teammate. You can go out and try and challenge and miss the ball, and then it's down to your teammate to do with a 2v1. If you're in this position as well, it's actually quite easy to just play it around you, and then again, teammates in a 2v1. So just get into net, get onto the back post, because what ends up happening, if I'm watching from your teammate's perspective here, this ball for him has gone past you, so that's his ball now. But because you haven't left the ball alone, and because you haven't rotated into net, you can't see what your teammate's doing. He can see what you're doing, sure, so he probably could have backed out of this and probably should have done. But equally, this was his ball to go for because it went past you, and it's just resulted in a double commit, and that's why they scored that. Don't rush it. Okay. Could have taken a bit more time there to, if we come back to this, it could have taken a bit more time and gone at a wider angle. So you could have turned right a little bit here, used a little bit of your boost. Okay, you've only got 14, I didn't realise that. You could have come a little bit further around the ball though, so that you then turn at a wider angle and meet the ball more full on. And what they would have done would have just popped it up into the air, back towards their corner, and that would have just kept them under pressure. What we did is fine to stall it, but it just gives them the ball back. It's not really any point in it. We could have just left the ball, would have done the same thing. Good effort. I can hear your teammate behind you, so this is your ball still to go for if you want to. And then here, as soon as we realise our teammate's getting a touch, we need to push further forward. I'm going to put another circle on the screen showing you where I'd like you to be here. This is just, it's too far away. It's too close to this wall. I appreciate we're going for boost, but we probably could leave it for our teammate if we need to. We've got 60 boost, but that's more than enough to join the attack. So I'd rather see you in this position that we're in at the moment. We're just too close to the wall and we're too far away from the play. If this drops in front of their net, it's an easy clearance. Sure, it's a clearance straight to you, but if we're a bit closer to the play here, we could be scoring a goal. That positioning is good though, I like that. Yeah, good shadowing, leave them, let them have the ball. Good, really like it, good stuff. That's just unfortunate. Safe from your teammate though. Okay, I like the way you've done that to put them under pressure. I don't know if you're intending on actually going for this ball or not, or whether you just went up to put them under pressure. This is something that I would do in sort of a 15-1600 lobby. I would go up for this. No intention of going for the ball whatsoever, but it just puts them under pressure. It makes them think you're going to go for the ball, so it just forces them to do something. This is good. I like this. And again, we could have just used some boost to get down there. What we instead do, just to put into perspective for you. So here, once we realise we're not going for the ball, point the nose down, use 10 boost to boost down towards the ground. You're on 60, and then you land, and you've already got forward momentum to just drive forward along the ground. What you do instead is you don't use any of your boost. Still here, still on 71. And then once we're hitting the ground, you start to use your boost. But because you're hitting the ground with no momentum, all you're using that boost for is essentially to stop your car going backwards. We don't want to do that. That's what the forward and backwards is for. So only start to use your boost once your car is on the ground, because at this point you've just used 11 boost and your car's gone absolutely nowhere. So just wait until your car's on the ground, or boost in the air, but boost forward and down with the nose down so that you've got some momentum when you land. Don't boost the way you just have, because you've just lost 11 boost for no real reason. I'll go into free play after we've looked at this whole match and show you exactly what I mean by that as well. Come back and watch the whole thing again. So here we should really rotate onto the back post behind our teammate again, instead of following the ball, because then we've turned into our corner. Still not gone anywhere near the ball. Still not gone anywhere near the ball. And then by the time we come out for the ball, opposition players there before us. We could have just been sat in net ready to help our teammate, and then our teammate could have pushed out. Teammate was in control of the situation, but we take over. We missed the ball. It's a good shot. Teammate perhaps could have saved it, but he's probably got no boost. Ideally there we want to be rotating on the back post so we're not causing any confusion and we're not cutting in. I don't know what happened to your teammate there, he turtled. I don't know if that's his connection issues. And again here, at Diamond, it's probably really nitpicky, but it's been bugging me. So here again, we're just probably using a bit too much boost. So there's nobody challenging this ball at all. So we can see one of them in net. We know our teammates just bumped the other one, so nobody's challenging this. It's all yours. We can use a little bit of boost to get the momentum going, and then we can just flip, and then we go supersonic, and then we don't need boost, because once you're supersonic, you don't need boost, because you can't get any faster. Instead, we use all of our boost, and then we come and control the ball. And it's fine, because there's a corner boost there, so we're going to get 100 again anyway. But if that corner boost hadn't been there, you might be in a bit of trouble here, so just be mindful of that. It's a good touch to take it past the opposition. It's an unfortunate demo. Oh, good effort. Unlucky. It's good understanding that the timer was about to end. It wasn't a bad effort, it's unlucky. Yeah, and here, so same kind of thing. There's no need to be sort of jumping for this. We know we're not going to get to this ball. We're on 0 boost, so just move in towards it and then handbrake, turn out, back away. You're not going to achieve anything here other than putting your teammate into a 2v1. Push forward towards the ball, handbrake, turn away, just puts them under pressure, and then go and grab yourself some boost, and then you're back with the play. To make this a decent enough 50, and we're fortunate that they've missed the ball. And it's the same thing again here. So I don't know how much your teammates connections messing them up here, but here rotating with the ball, not too keen, but I appreciate you want that boost, so that's okay. But once we get that boost, get back into net. Don't turn on the ball. Just get back into net, ready to make a save if you need to, and ready to see what your teammate's doing. If you get back into net, you can see what your teammate's doing. I appreciate you're in comms, you probably know anyway. But if you're in net, you're just in a much better position to defend than you are if you just sit in this sort of area. It's good clearance in the end. Teammates ball. Yeah, so if I'm being overly critical here, we're just a little bit too far wide. So I'm going to put another circle on the screen here. This is where you should ideally be, not so far out wide, because if you're in this position where I'm putting the circle on the screen, you're in a position whereby if the ball does come wide, you can quite easily just turn and come and get to it. And equally, if the ball goes centre, it's there for you to take. In this position, sure, if the ball comes wide, you're there to get to it. But if the ball goes centre and presents a scoring opportunity, chances are you're not going to be able to get there in time. So just be a bit more central so that you're there for either eventuality. And you just see yourself start picking up a few more goals in that middle area. Yeah, point. I think we see the point here. So teammate keeps the ball alive. It's all a little bit sloppy, but then the Lolamo guy makes a really strange touch, fools his teammate. If we'd have been a little bit more central here, we could have been on the end of that and scoring the winner. Yeah, we're getting our teammates way a little bit here. So once this ball comes out towards you, you've got to make a decision, and that decision's got to be either I'm going for this ball or I'm not going for this ball. If you're going for the ball, great, go up for it, do whatever you want with it. If you're not going for it, back off so that your teammate can go for it. I don't care how you do it. For me personally, I'd have just flipped away and gone over to the opposite side. So the direction you're facing, just flip over there, go towards the far corner boost or the mid boost, get out of the way, let your teammate go for this. What we do instead is we turn to follow the path of the ball, and our teammate's coming in towards the ball, and it just creates a confusing situation where your teammate's scared of hitting you, scared of hitting the ball, scared of what's going to happen if you both miss the ball, and the ball gets played past both of you in the end. Not your teammate's fault. He had every right to go for that ball. We should have just rotated out and given him the chance to. Unlucky, good effort, good idea. Good boost still. I'll just get back because you've got 2-1. Good. Now you can push out if you want to, or you can sit in that. Either one of those is fine. You know your teammate's on his way back because I've seen him rotating. So you can do one or two things here. Either get in net or push out. You get in net, absolutely fine. Spot on stuff. When you do get into net, ordinarily I'd criticise this kind of positioning, but because you know your teammate's on his way back, you can see he's quite far in his rotation back. You know it's not going to take him too long. So normally I'd say get more central in the net. Because we know our teammate's quite close in his rotation, we can quite safely go on to the near post because we can expect him to go on the far post, so that's absolutely fine. There's good patience, waiting for the ball, and then we get it clear. Good stuff. Okay. I'm starting to... I see... This is the first time I've seen it, but this may explain why you're sometimes cutting in front of your teammate and not completing a full rotation to back post, because your teammate's being very passive. So your teammate should be going out for this ball at this point. He can see you're rotating back behind him. His teammate should be coming out for this ball, keeping it alive, keeping the play alive, challenging it, keeping the ball potentially in their half. Just keeps things more fluid. What's happening, and this has happened a lot, and it's not your teammate, it's you doing it a little bit as well. And it's also the the orange team doing it as well. But what's happening a lot here is there's far too much respect going on between the two teams. And so what we're seeing a lot is that the ball will go into say, for example, here, the ball will go into the orange team's half and you'll lose the ball. And then both you and your teammate will back off into your own half, and it just gives them the chance to allow them to come forward. And then they'll come forward and they'll lose the ball and they'll back off into their own half. It'll allow you and your teammate to get forward. That's fine. That's kind of how Rocket League works. But if we're a little bit sharper on the rotations, if we're always just making sure we're rotating behind our teammate, we're going to see a lot more of our teammate challenging in this situation. Teammate can challenge this, keep the ball alive. He goes past the ball. He rotates back behind you. You challenge, keep it alive. Ball goes back to the orange team. They get it past you. You rotate back. Teammate's in a good position. Teammate rotates in, keeps the ball alive. By that point, you've rotated behind your teammate. He loses the ball. You're in a position to challenge and keep the ball alive. If we get that mentality right, if we start learning how to rotate properly in completing those rotations and making sure our teammates doing it as well, then we can start to keep the ball alive, and we won't see all of this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We'll start to see more of an ebb and a flow, and then we'll see a lot more attacking chances whilst actually keeping defence a lot cleaner as well, because if we can keep attacking pressure on, then the ball's not going to come towards your net quite so much. But because we're making sure those rotations are really good, if we are keeping that attacking pressure on, because those rotations are really good, doesn't matter if the ball does come towards your net, because the rotations will be really good, we'll have someone in net, and then it's just a case of teammate rotating a little bit further to join you in net, and then you're defending as a team, and then we're attacking as a team, and we're defending as a team. And it's a little bit it'll be a little bit more like that if the rotations are on point. And if your teammate, so this is a really good example, if your teammate comes in to challenge this and keeps the ball alive, then potentially we keep the ball in their half, we keep them under pressure, we boost starve them, there's a potential goal at the end of it for us. Not only that, it doesn't go near your net for a little while, which takes the pressure off you guys. Whereas what's happening instead is we're both going back towards net. You've got 0 boost, I don't know how much your teammate's got, but we're just going to let them come towards our net, and there's just no real point in it. Because the ball's going to come towards our net, they're either going to score or they're going to lose the ball, and they're going to do the same thing that you guys are doing. So once they lose the ball, they're going to back off and go back to their net. You're going to have the ball, you're going to take it forward, by which point they're both going to be sat in their net. It's just, there's not a huge amount of opportunity for things to happen with the play being like this. So be a little bit more aggressive sometimes, but be more aggressive whilst keeping a solid rotation is really important. Gonna assume that's your teammates' connection issues. Yeah, so here this is all really messy, but I'm not going to focus on too much of it. I'm going to focus on one very specific bit. So here, right, we've got a teammate behind us in that. We can only see one orange player. Okay, the other one's in your half somewhere. You've got momentum with the ball. Sure, you're not the closest to the ball. Doesn't matter. You've got plenty of boost. Use some of that boost. Just push forward towards the ball. Put them under pressure. Put them under pressure, because all that's happening here is we're giving them an opportunity to boom the ball back into your end, and there's just no point. So boost forward towards the ball, flip towards it, whatever you want to do. Just get closer to the ball. You don't have to challenge the ball. You just want to put them under pressure. So if you get closer to the ball here, you put them under pressure, and then as soon as you've put them under pressure, you work out what to do based on what they're going to do. So if they're going to beat you to the ball and you think they're going to get a good touch, get close, drive close to the ball, and then handbrake turn away. It's called a fake challenge. And what that's going to do is it's going to put them under pressure, and it's going to force them to do something, potentially make a mistake and give the ball to your teammate. If you feel like you're getting close to the ball and it's challengeable because they've lost it or they're messing about with it, challenge it. Keep the ball alive. Put them under pressure. Drop it in front of their net. Anything. Keeping the ball alive and putting them under pressure and challenging them where you can will just stress them out, and it will increase the pressure on them, and it will force them into mistakes because they'll start panicking. So we can be a lot more aggressive here with very little danger to our own net. So if we do challenge this, teammates behind us in net, and the ball's in their corner, so it's not going to threaten your net from here. So we can quite easily just push forward and challenge this without being so nice to them, and get the ball closer to their net, or keep it where it is, but make them panic and make them use boost and let your teammate rotate in. What we do instead is we hover really far back from the ball, let him have it for no apparent reason. He doesn't really do anything with it, he just takes it up the wall, but then we back off. And it's just allowing them to come forward again. And then we've gone back for boost, our teammate was going for, so we've now stolen our teammate's boost. And now we've got this situation again where the ball's in their end, both of them are in their net, both of us are in our net. There is almost a whole pitch between the two of their players and you two, and the ball's with them. It's not ideal. And then eventually we do challenge it, but because we've given them so much space and time, it's so easy for them to just pop this over you. This kind of commitment is what we should have seen before, because in that scenario that I was looking at when you first pushed it forward, this guy was alone, or whichever guy it was, they were alone. you could have challenged it and they'd have been alone. Their teammate wouldn't have been able to support them. That was the time to do this, what you're doing now. Doing this now at this point, not the best of ideas. Why? Because the two orange players were both on the screen. They were both together. If this ball goes past you, you leave your teammate in a 2v1. If it had happened before, your teammate wouldn't really have been in a 2v1, or if he had, you'd have had the time to get back, because the ball was going towards the opposite end, and it was in their corner going towards their corner, and one of their team was behind you somewhere. So it would have been really awkward and difficult for them to have made anything happen. Here, though, it's a different story. They're both pushing forward with the ball. The ball's coming towards your end as well. And your teammate, whilst he is behind you, sure, you've just stolen his boost as well, so we don't know how much boost he's got. So this is much, much more dangerous than the one a minute ago. This is what you should have done a minute ago, and what you did a minute ago is what you should be doing now. That's scoreable. Nice. Appreciate what you tried to do here, and then double commit from them. This is the same kind of thing that I was saying to you earlier. I don't think it was exactly this kind of thing that I was saying to you. This is a really good thing to look at from their perspective. So one of them's challenging. This guy that we're looking at the moment isn't. So we'll come to his perspective. So his teammate's there in the middle of the field. His teammate's in control of this situation. So all he needs to do, this guy, he can push up a little bit if he wants to, just because the ball's so far downfield. But a safer option would be to just get in net and sit in net, especially when it starts to come closer. At this point, I'd be backing off and getting back in net, because I know that we're in danger here. What he does instead is inexcusable. So you make this touch. It's a fairly good touch. It gets it almost past the first guy. And then we don't trust our teammate enough. And we come in for a double commit, bump each other out of the way, and it's just a goal for you. It's sloppy. It's something we saw you and your teammate do a little bit earlier. Not quite like that, but it was a similar thing. So it's just these kind of mistakes is what we're trying to eradicate. So it's all about being patient. It's all about rotating behind our teammate. And it's all about just trusting each other. In terms of that whole replay, there wasn't a huge amount awfully wrong for this rank. I've got a few... I've got something quickly to show you in free play, because I said that I would put into perspective something in free play. It's just the rotations at time, and I know you're in comms with your teammate, and I know he had a connection issue, so I don't know whether that's normal or whether that's what you were being told or what you were both communicating with each other, and that does make things different. It doesn't make it right, but it makes things different. Mechanically, not a huge amount wrong. There was just a few times where, as I said, the rotations weren't great. There's a little bit of cutting in front of your teammate. And there was a few times where the positioning in attack wasn't great either. But we've pointed all of those out in the actual replay. The only thing I've got to show you in free play is about the usage of boost. Because we've said before that... we said during that game that when you're in the air, sometimes you use too much boost trying to start. When you're coming out down from an aerial, you use too much boost on the ground compared to how much you use in the air. So okay, we'll go with this because this seems to be working. Okay, cool. So when you come down from an aerial, what you seem to be doing a lot of is this, where you just let the car come down, and then come back to actually get a bit more boost. So you're coming up for one, and then you're letting the car come down whilst you're putting it upwards, and then you're starting to boost from like an early... So I'm going to slow that down so we can look at that. What you're doing is you're coming up, and then you're waiting till you hit, and then you're boosting on your way down whilst your nose is pointing upwards, which is just keeping your car going forward, and it's reducing the amount of boost you've got available once you've hit the ground. So you're doing this kind of thing, and it's not ideal. What you should be doing, what would be better, would be to, if you're in this position, boost down, and you're on the ground quicker, and then once you hit the ground, you've got momentum. So instead of this, whereby we're doing this, and we haven't got a lot of momentum when we hit the ground, we're going up, and then we're boosting down towards the ground, and then we don't need to boost, we're on the ground because we're already driving pretty fast. And that's just going to be more helpful then, because what you're doing is you're pointing those upwards, and then you're boosting before you hit the ground, and it's just making it a bit more awkward for you. Whereas if you boost whilst you're in the air, nose down towards the ground, go towards the ground, and then you hit the ground, and you've got a nice bit of momentum to carry you on further forward. Other than that, it's just the positioning things, just the rotations in defence. It wasn't awful. You said that was the most challenging game you'd come across, I think, and you said it was because your friend got ping problems in the middle of the game. I'd be interested to know how you've got on since this replay. And I think you're EU, aren't you? So yeah, it'd be interesting to know how you've got on since that replay. If there's anything else I could do to help you, absolutely let me know. If there's anything that you want further clarification on, let me know. If you want to jump into live sessions, live games, any of that kind of thing at any point, let me know. Otherwise, hope it's been helpful as always. Sorry it's been so nitpicky, but it has to be when there's only one replay, really. But as I said, if there's anything else I could do to help, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.